Today we'll talk about the realism in international relations. Realism is considered as the most influential theoretical discourse which dominated the study of international relations, especially in the post-Second World War era. As its name implies, realism seeks to discover and describe the world of international politics as it is rather than how it ought to be. There are some basic realist ideas and assumptions, and they are: number one, a pessimistic and gloomy view of human nature. The international system is governed by anarchy, that is, the absence of any supreme regulatory authority. According to the neo-realist, the nation states are the most important national actors in world politics. A high regard for the values of national interest and state survival. A general skepticism about the relevance of the morality in international politics. There is a sharp distinction between the domestic and the international politics. International politics, like all politics, is a struggle for power, the extent to which the international system can be made peaceful and just. Realism occurs where the international realm is characterized by suspicion, conflict, and the competition between the nation states. Fundamental changes to the structure of the anarchical international system are unlikely, and that the nation states which are living under the aegis of anarchy are selfish, self-centered, self-contained units struggling for power and security in world politics. According to the realist, states are basically power-seeking units. Realism is usually contrasted with idealism or liberalism, which tends to emphasize on values and cooperation. Now, many have referred to realism as the billiard ball approach to international relations. It assumes that the states, like the billiard balls, are impermeable and self-contained units, moving smoothly and colliding with other balls on the competitive table. Among the classical realists, the two most important and prominent theorists are E. H. Carr and Hans G. Morgenthau. According to Hans G. Morgenthau in his book Politics Among Nations, men and women are by nature political animals. They are born to pursue power and to enjoy the fruits of power. He speaks of the animus dominandi, which is the human lust for power. He lists 6 principles of political realism, which taken together summarize his theoretical approach to the study of international relations. Number 1, politics is governed by the objective laws that are rooted in human nature, and these laws do not change over time and are impervious to human preference. 2, according to Morgenthau, the main signpost that helps for political realism to find its way through the landscape of international politics is the concept of interest defined in terms of power. 3, according to Morgenthau, the idea of interest is indeed of the essence of politics and is unaffected by the circumstances of time and space. Number 3, Hans Morgenthau says, the idea of interest is indeed of the essence of the politics and is unaffected by the circumstances of time and place. Thus, the forms and the nature of the state power may vary in time, place, and context, but the concept of interest remains the same. He writes in his book Politics Among Nations that the realism maintains that universal moral principles cannot be applied to the actions of the state in their abstract universal formulation, but they must be filtered through the concrete circumstances of time and place. It means that the universal moral principles do not guide a state's rational behavior, though state behavior certainly possesses some moral and ethical implications. Number 5, he asserts that the political realism does not identify the moral aspirations of a particular nation with the moral laws that govern the universe. There exists no universal set of moral principles. Number 6, intellectually, the political sphere is autonomous and distinct from the other spheres like economics, legal, or moral. Morgenthau says that a political realist thinks in terms of an interest defined in terms of power, as an economist thinks in terms of wealth and utility, the lawyer in terms of the legal rules, and the moralist in terms of the ethical principles. As he writes that as the economist questions that how a particular policy will affect the wealth of a society, in a similar fashion, the realist asks how does this policy affect the power of the nation. Thus, Morgenthau encapsulates his idea theory in his 6 principles of the political realism. For Morgenthau, the international politics was a struggle for power among the states. The pursuit of the national interest was a normal, unavoidable, and desirable activity. Thank you.